Hello everyone and welcome to the next episode of Comic Book Carnage. Today we are covering Red Hood Outlaw issue 35, which is basically Essence shows up and Jason has a throwdown with Essence. Very well drawn. I like the way this is drawn. Honestly, I haven't reviewed the last couple of issues for Red Hood and Outlaw, simply because I haven't had a lot to say about them. And the one thing I have had to say about them is pretty negative and seems pretty whiny, so I decided not to cover them, which is unusual for me because Red Hood is my favourite character, and, well, you know, you'd kind of expect me to cover Red Hood, so, you know, I'm back now. I have a fair bit to say about this issue. Mostly good. First of all, the fight choreography and the way the fight is done in the panels looks very, very nice. I'm very much a fan of it. Next, we have to talk about who he's fighting. Essence. She's a member of the Outlaws and also one in a very long line of Jason's exes. I mean, you know. So, yeah, this isn't particularly news to anyone, especially if you read the New 52, because she featured quite prominently in some of the earlier arcs of the Red Hood and Outlaws New 52. She was definitely in Volume 1, I believe, which is, I believe it was entitled Redemption. Yeah, Redemption. She was definitely in Volume 1, which was Redemption. I can't tell you what exact issue because back then I was not collecting issues of comics. I only did the volumes. That's something I will talk about at some point. But basically, like, the art in this is very nice. It's some of the best we've got for art in this series in a while. The art's definitely, like, gone up a notch here. Also, Essence's weapon is very interesting. I want to talk about... I never much cared for Essence, but she's a very interesting character. Well, the character isn't, her weapon is. Excuse me, slight slip of the tongue there. Basically, Jason has the all blades, she has the blood sword. And basically Jason kind of explains that the blood sword, the caveat with it is you can't spill innocent blood. It has to only be guilty blood. You can't use the weapon against anyone other than the guilty. Well, you can't draw blood from anyone other than the guilty. And of course, Essence is fighting Jason with his sword, and he deliberately leaves himself open. And she impales him with this thing, and if any of you have read prior Red Hood comics, you know a single sword through the chest is not going to stop him. So basically, Essence instantly realizes her mistake as she gets sucked into the sword. And basically Jason explains that if you, like, you know, he's not guilty, but he's also not innocent, he's somewhere in between. So basically the sword behaves as if he's not guilty, and it's a bit convoluted really, considering the fact that Jason's not the most purist of person, and it's part of why I never liked the Outlaws stuff in New 52. I always preferred the League of Assassins training that he had in the original incarnation, simply because it kind of muddied the waters a little bit. Because basically you're told in order to be able to wield the all blades, you need to have a pure heart. But it's a bit like, well, Jason Todd doesn't have a pure heart. He's a sociopathic killer that's trained to kill people, and he does so gleefully and even takes pleasure in it sometimes. You know, like, if hang on, wait, let me show the clip from Arkham Knight.
Black Mask, you should have left when you had a chance.
You don't need to do this. Give your money, drugs, guns, weapons, whatever you want. Please, I'll take a plane, leave Gotham, never show my face again. Anywhere you want, I'll go anywhere.
How about you go to hell? Say hi to Joker for me.
There you go. Like, you don't You don't do that unless you take pleasure in your work, and JT certainly does. So yeah, as I said, it creates a lot of problems with the character in my eyes. So I was kind of hoping in Rebirth, Lobdell would kind of not touch the subject of the old cast and he'd kind of ignore it. Okay, towards the start, I only had Jason bring out the All Blades once, and I'm like, okay, yeah, fair enough, he's forgot about it now. He's just used that as a plot MacGuffin to fight someone. That's gone now. But the last couple of issues, Essence and the old cast have come back, and it obviously culminates in this fight, which I'm not too happy that Lobdell's brought them back, and I'm even less happy that they made him some kind of... I don't know, it's just, I think the whole all-cast thing was a mistake from New 52 that should have been swept under the rug. But, that aside, the fight's very cool, I can't complain about that, and also, hopefully with this fight, it will draw a line under the whole, it will draw a line under the whole, like, all-cast thing, and we can move on. Because at the very end of the issue, we see Penguin has got out of his safe room, and he's pointing a revolver at Jason, who's already injured. So, yeah, hopefully we can move on from the whole all-cast stuff now, and I can go back to being a happy bunny and reviewing Red Hood and Outlaws without having to whinge or moan. Because Red Hood and Outlaws is the one comic I can review without ever having to whinge normally. Well, I tell a lie, I can have a few small gripes and a few nitpicks, but I think that comes from me being a media student and having a very clear idea of how I would portray the character. So it's kind of like, I know, I get a lot of criticisms that like, oh, your way of doing it would mean he never develops, he'd always be stuck being the same, like, you know, he'd always be like this Punisher-like character. And it's like, well, sometimes that's just what people want. Like, have you ever considered why Punisher sells really well? It's because sometimes people just want to watch the bad guys get what they deserve, and Red Hood should basically be that within DC. He's the guy that gives the criminals what they deserve, and, you know, I don't know, we'll see where it goes, but it's an okay issue. It's not mind-blowingly great, and it's not awful. So, you know, it's definitely a solid read. Would pick it up. Anyway, guys, so that about does it for this video, and I'll see you all in the next one. As I've already said, I have a very special video coming soon, if it's not already up by the time this is out. Hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you all for watching. I've been Josh from C2000. I hope you've enjoyed this part of Comic Book Carnage. Please leave your comments down below, leave me some feedback, or if you just want to chat, I'm up for that too. Also, if you could hit the subscribe, I'd be so appreciative of that. And also, hit the bell for notifications, make sure you know when I upload. Don't want you to miss anything fun here on the channel. And I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.